Good morning. Today, we celebrate a dream awakening. Today, we worship with renewed hope in our hearts. Today, we act on the audacity of hopes and the dreams of the future. Today, we begin the hard work for justice, equality, and compassion in all human relations. For today is a day like no other, and it is ours to shape with vision and action. Let us worship together and celebrate a dream awakening.
Good morning, everyone. On behalf of the entire congregation, I welcome you to the Unitarian Universalist Church of the Shenandoah Valley. I am Laura Baker Anderle, your worship associate for today's service. We gather with our doubts as well as our convictions, with our fears and our hopes, with our failures and our aspirations, with our sorrows and our joys. Whether you are joining us today for the first time or you've been a member or friend for many years, we are glad you're here. Whatever faiths you have known, if any, whatever your background, whoever you are, whomever you love, however you arrived here, you are welcome. Now, as Ashley Steele comes forward to light the chalice, let us all say together here and online the words for lighting our chalice. In the light of truth and in the warmth of love, we gather to seek, to sustain, and to share. And I invite you to join us as we say our covenant. Love is the spirit of this church. The quest for truth is its sacrament, to dwell together in peace, to seek the truth in freedom, and to help our neighbor. To these ends, we covenant one with another. Now please stand and body your spirit as we sing the opening hymn from the Brown Hymnal, number 131, Love Will Guide Us. It is time for all ages, so young and the young at heart, come on up.
Well, this story is called A Sick Day for Amos McGee. Amos McGee was an early riser. Every morning, when the alarm clock clanged, he swung his legs out of bed and swapped his pajamas for a fresh, pressed uniform. He would wind his watch and set a pot of water to boil, saying to the sugar bowl, "A spoonful for my oatmeal, please, and 2 for my teacup." Belly full and ready for the workday, he'd amble out the door. Ambling is walking. Every day, Amos waited for the number 5 bus. "Next stop, City Zoo," the bus driver would call. 6 a.m., right on time, he'd reply. Amos had a lot to do at the zoo, but he always made time to visit his good friends. He's a zookeeper. He would play chess with the elephant, who thought and thought before making a move. Run races with the tortoise, who never ever lost. Sit quietly with the penguin, who was very shy. Lend a handkerchief to the rhinoceros, who always had a runny nose. And at sunset, read stories to the owl, who was afraid of the dark. Can you imagine that? One day, Amos awoke with the sniffles and the sneezes and the chills. He swung his achy legs out of bed, curled them back again, and said, "Ugh, I don't think I'll be going to work today." Meanwhile, at the zoo, the animals waited for their friend. The elephant arranged his pawns and polished his castles. The tortoise stretched his legs and limbered up. The penguin sat patiently all by himself, and the rhinoceros worried that his allergies were worsening. The owl perched atop a tall stack of storybooks, scratching his head with concern. "Where is Amos?" the animals wondered. Later that day, where are they going?
Oh no.
Where are they waiting?
For the bus to go.
They're waiting for the bus. Nah.
The bus driver actually let them on.
I guess so. He doesn't look bothered by it. Hooray! My good friends are here. Can you imagine all those animals coming to your house and just walking in your bedroom? The elephant prepared a game of chess. Amos thought and thought before making a move. "I'm too tired to run races today," said Amos to the tortoise. "Let's play hide and seek instead." The tortoise hid inside his shell. Amos hid beneath the covers. Amos yawned. "I could use a nap." The penguin sat quietly, keeping Amos's feet warm. Oh, that's so sweet. Achoo! Amos awoke with a sneeze. The rhinoceros was ready with the handkerchief. "I'm beginning to feel much better, thank you," said Amos to his friends. He swung his legs out of bed. "Perhaps we'll share a pot of tea." Amos wound his alarm clock. "It's getting late," he said. "After all, we have a morning bus to catch." So Amos said goodnight to the elephant, and goodnight to the tortoise, and goodnight to the penguin, and goodnight to the rhinoceros, and goodnight to the owl, who, knowing that Amos was afraid of the dark, read a story aloud before turning out the light. Oh, they're all cozy together.
They escaped from the zoo.
They did escape from the zoo, but Amos doesn't seem worried. The end. So, wasn't it helpful for them to go and help their friend? Yeah. And even though they didn't give him medicine, they gave him company.
All right, for our meditation today, we're going to do something a little bit different. In your brown hymnal on page 726, there are words for meditation and there are stanzas. You might notice that the first stanza is in normal text and the second one is in italics. So we're going to do like a call and response. So the side here closest to the piano will do the first stanza, and then this side will do the second stanza, and we'll just kind of go back and forth. So page 726, Food for the Spirit. Okay, is everybody ready on this side? Okay. I was hungry and you gave me food. I was thirsty and you gave me drink, this side. Stranger and you welcomed me. I was naked and you clothed me. I was sick and you visited me. I was in prison, and you came to me. Here is the bread of life, food for the spirit. Let all who hunger come and eat. Here is the fruit of the vine, pressed and poured out for us. Let all who thirst now come and drink. We come to break bread. We come to drink of the fruit of the vine. We come to make peace. May we never praise God with our mouths while denying in our hearts or by our acts the love that is our common speech. I come to be restored in the love of God. I come to be made new as an instrument of that love. I know that I am worthy. I know that I am welcome. All are worthy. All are welcome. Come into the embrace and remembrance of this communion. Thank you. Ben Weber is a key member of the new management team that is launching Blue Ridge Independence at Home, the Winchester-based PACE program of all-inclusive care for the elderly. Affiliated with the Blue Ridge Hospice that provides comprehensive community-based care for seniors, allowing them to receive medical and social supportive services so they can continue to live safely and independently in their homes and communities. Growing this new not-for-profit in the Shenandoah Valley is nothing short of exciting. The organization is filled with energy, Ben says. We know the value we are bringing to the frail elderly, a group that in many cases has been overlooked. We have the opportunity to be a catalyst to serve both the medical and socialization needs of the frail elderly while enabling them to continue to live at home in the community. Ben graduated with a Bachelor of Arts with a major in political science from LaSalle University in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. He earned his Master of Arts in International Business from the George Mason School of Public Policy in Arlington, Virginia. In addition, Ben has studied security and economics internationally in Moscow and Budapest. A native of Waynesboro, Virginia, in the Shenandoah Valley, Ben resides in Winchester. He and his wife have 2 children, 1 adult and 1 teen. Ben is a member of Rotary International and a former member of the Winchester City Council. Outside of work, Ben teaches defensive driving and races Mercedes vehicles. So please welcome Ben Weber.
Good morning. How is everyone doing today? Let's try that again. Good morning. How's everyone doing? I heard an awesome. Thank you so much. I appreciate that very much. I wanted to talk to you about Blue Ridge Care and how it is no longer Blue Ridge Blue Ridge Hospice. And I don't know if Robert has the first slide, if he doesn't mind pulling that up. Well, first of all, caring is life. That's our new motto at Blue Ridge Care. And if we go ahead and throw up the next couple of buttons, some of them are a little goofy. I apologize for that. But if you'll notice, oh, here, we got a microphone here. Oh, I'm in trouble now. So if you keep going, you'll see that a lot of these words can be very familiar to you and this church, okay? But the one I want to talk about today is equity, okay? About how we can serve each other and how we can serve our neighbors. And then if we go to the next slide. First and foremost, this is the transition. Who here, show of hands. This is the audience participation part. Show of hands, who's heard of Blue Ridge Hospice? Great, outstanding. Who has heard of Blue Ridge Care? Not as many, but still a good number. You can see right here, this is the chronological order of how things have changed. You can see in 2023 that we started changing our butterfly, right? Everyone remembers the butterfly. I'm wearing one on my lapel right here. And then we started making modifications. But we also were doing a lot of things behind the scenes as well. We started doing more than what hospice is known for. Hope and healing, our thrift shops. Who here has gone to our thrift shops? Who here has donated and bought at our thrift shops? Great. Just so you know, you all helped build PACE, the program of all-inclusive care for the elderly. You have ownership in that organization, and you should be very proud at what has happened in the last year and 2 months. And I'll tell you a little bit more about that. But you'll see here in May of this year, we changed Blue Ridge Hospice officially to Blue Ridge Care because we're doing so much more. We have hospice, of course. We also have our palliative care, which is going to be changing its name to chronic illness care because a lot of people don't know exactly what palliative care is. But we also have PACE, the Program of All-Inclusive Care, which I'll be getting more in depth in a moment. And we also have our Hope and Healing Center, and we have our thrift shops. We have music therapy. We got a whole host of things. And a lot of people are even involved here in this church as well with the Blue Ridge Care organization. So thank you so much from all of us. And we'll go to the next one, Robert. So how are you part of it? Now, I sort of hinted at the fact that you've already played a role in PACE. You know, you went to the thrift shop, you bought something. This church is playing a critical role by allowing me to come in and share the good news with you. Okay? And Blue Ridge Care, all of us funnel into this PACE program, and we'll go to the next slide. Typically, when seniors are in the need of any type of care, they have the left model right here. A lot of times, who here thinks their doctors talk amongst themselves about you? Okay, based on that response, I'm going to say that you probably don't think they do a lot of talking, all right? I'm not saying that's a bad thing, but let's be honest, it could be better. Our PACE model is a coordinated care program. We package everything up together with our Dr. Julie Landrio. If anybody's ever heard of Dr. Julie Landrio, she is our medical director. Thank you. And so she, along with her interdisciplinary team, have a full discussion of what's going on with your individual needs. And then if you do have the need of a specialist, let's say a cardiologist or you're in dialysis, she will communicate with that and make sure that you're involved in each and every decision. Because at our facility, our participants are called participants, as I mentioned. They're not patients, they're not customers, they're not clients, they're participants because they have to participate in their own care, right? Because we all want to do good. We'll go to the next slide. So how do you get into the PACE and what is the BRIH up there? So for legal reasons, we are Blue Ridge Independence at Home, a division of Blue Ridge Care. So that's because we are managed and overseen by two major organizations, and it's government stuff. The Center for Medicare and Medicaid Services through the federal government, and the Department of Medical Assisted Services through Virginia, which is also known as Cardinal Care. So those two I call them overlords. That might not be the right word, and they might not want to be hearing that, but let's be honest, that's what the ones that are keeping an eye on us. So you have to be 55 years of old or older. I meet that qualification. You have to meet nursing level of care through a UAI, a Uniform Assessment Instrument. Now, that doesn't mean that you're going to an assisted living or you're going to a nursing home, but it just means that you could qualify for that. You also have to live in the area in which we serve. In the area that we serve at the PACE program is 2,300 square miles. It's huge. We're definitely in it in this location right here, but we cover a multitude of counties in our area. And here it is. Robert was ahead of the game here. Frederick, Clark, Loudon, Rappahannock, and Warren, we cover everything, but then they give us these zip codes, and it really makes things really interesting when we talk to people. What's your zip code? Where's your post office box? We have to explain that. But yes, Page, Shenandoah, and Fauquier, we cover large swaths of those areas as well. And so I spend a lot of time on the road visiting people like yourselves and explaining the goal of this program and the objectives of this program because it is so exciting and it's never been done before in our community. We'll go to the next. The first PACE was in 1973. That was a long time ago for a lot of me, for me definitely. But it was a long time ago, and the fact that it took place in San Francisco. And it started because a couple of nurses and a couple of doctors said, we're seeing people come into the emergency room, but they don't need to be coming into the emergency room because they could take care of some of this stuff at home, or they should have taken this at home, but they didn't have a primary care doctor, so they're using the emergency room as their primary care doctor. They're frequent flyers without the benefits. And so they started getting together, and ironically, in Chinatown, they started going and helping families in Chinatown. And it started working. So it's been going on since 1973. 33 states out of the 50 states in the United States are participating in the PACE program. West Virginia is not one. But I'm working on that. It's going to take me a couple of years, but I'm already well into it in doing it. The first PACE program in Virginia was in Hampton Roads in 2007, and there are currently 14 PACE programs in the Commonwealth of Virginia, 3 of which are nonprofit organizations. We're one of those 3 and proud of it. The other ones that are not nonprofits, they're connected to big hospital healthcare organizations. Different animal. Completely different animal. That's why we are so happy. And Valley Health was asked if they wanted to be part of the PACE program, and they said, you know what? Blue Ridge Care would be better for that. So it has taken us 3 years to get to the stage where we could open our door. 3 years and close to $6.7 million. That's where you come in. Okay? I'm not here to ask for money, but I want to thank you because of you went to the thrift shops. It was the thrift shops, and maybe a loan from a couple of local banks. But the thrift shops, do you realize that those thrift shops generate close to $1 million a year, each one of them? Do anybody know how many thrift shops we have? How many? 8. 8 thrift shops. So please keep donating and do all your Christmas shopping there in the next couple of days. And we'll go to the next one. Remember I talked about that interdisciplinary team that Dr. Landrio has? Well, if you take a look at this, you see dietitians, a social worker, a nurse practitioner, personal care attendant, home care coordinator, and you see a primary care doctor. But you also see a driver there. We provide transportation for all our participants to and from as needed for medical transportation. We're not going to Wally's World or Target, but we will take you to all your medical appointments. And for so many people in our community, that is tremendous. I can't tell you how many people I know that are living off $570 a month, and they have to go to dialysis at 5:30 a.m. on Saturday, and their friends aren't available, they can't drive, they call Uber, and it costs them $80 one way. Remember, they live off $570 a month. Those are the people we're helping, and we're doing great by them. But the driver plays a critical role, not only just providing the transportation, but the driver and the doctor sit at the same level. There is no hierarchy in our organization. Everybody has a voice, just like everybody in this church has a voice, and every voice is important. The driver finds out in the morning that somebody may have fallen. And believe it or not, show of hands, who here tells their doctor everything and the truth? Funny. Got a little snicker out of that one. Okay. A lot of times we have some people that are maybe, that'll say, you know what, I don't want to bother Dr. Landrio this morning. She's so busy today. You know, I don't want to bother her. But it's important that Dr. Landrio should know if somebody took a fall last night. That's important. It could lead to something bigger and worse. And so the driver learns about that. The driver also learns about their favorite music. Maybe something emotionally that is a trigger. We've had some people say, please don't drive down 81. It makes me nervous. Well, why does it make it nervous? Found out the husband died in an accident on Interstate 81 many, many, many years ago. So we drive down Route 11. We do what we need to make people feel comfortable. We'll keep going. The breakdown, most people are going to be Medicare, Medicaid eligible, okay? And some will be Medicaid only. That means they're under 65 years of age. The youngest person we have is 59. They suffered a stroke, and they've lost the use of their left side of their body. They could not walk. I can tell you that they have been with us for 4 months, and they did 25 steps on Friday. Now, that might be the level that they're going to be at. But we're not going to stop. As long as they're with us, we will keep working with them to try to make their life better. We also have some people that are private pay. So if you don't qualify under Medicare or Medicaid, under those programs, you can private pay. And you're like, well, why would anybody want a private pay? Because we are trying to stop people from going to an assisted living facility, not because we don't like the assisted living facilities, but the goal of our program is to keep people in their home as long as they're able to do so safely. Because when you take somebody out of their home You are taking a little bit of them away. You're also taking them out of their community. You're taking them away from their civic organizations. You're taking them away from their church. You're taking them away sometimes from their family and their neighbors. So let's keep them in the house. Who here wants to move into an assisted living facility? All right, exactly. We want to do everything possible. Not that sometimes it'll happen, but it doesn't. But this individual, we know we have 2 or 3 people that are private paying right now. We have an individual that makes $84,000 a month in dividend checks. They're sitting pretty, and no, I've already asked if she would adopt me, and she said no. But they want to be at home with their things, with their family, their dog, their cat. They want to be there. So we provide all the services that they need. The doctor will come to the house. The NP will come to the house. The OT, the PT, they will come to the house as needed. Or they can come to our day center at 2333 Valor Drive, across the street from the Social Security Administration building in Winchester, Virginia. It is a 15,481 square foot facility. Not that I keep track of the square footage, but we also have a day center there. There's dining room facilities. The food is provided from Westminster Canterbury. If anybody's ever heard of that organization, yes, you have. Very nice. And you know the food is good there. It's very nice. But we also have activities and socialization. We have events. We have programming. But we also have a medical clinic there with 4 exam rooms, a phlebotomy room, and a whole host of cheerleaders that are going to support you throughout the day and 24 hours a day at your home. Go to the next one. This is what it looks like. Our dining room facility. We've had a number of Valley Health doctors come into our facility, look at our exam rooms, and they go, whoa, these are pretty nice. And they are. They're quite nice and quite large. We also provide personal hygiene. You know, the number 1 accident is at home? Tub, bathroom. And when somebody has their very first fall, and I hope nobody in here does, things change. Make sure if you're using a cane, you use that cane. Don't be too proud. Use that cane. Do not fall. We also have dining facilities and a whole host of other opportunities for people to do their personal hygiene at our facility. But we also will send an NA to their home, or CNA, I should say, to their home to also do personal hygiene as well. We will do everything. When I say all-inclusive care, I mean all-inclusive care. Oxygen, rollators, hospital bed, dialysis, chemotherapy, hip transplant, heart transplant, eyes, vision, dental, hearing, everything. Our goal is to take care of those small problems so they don't become big problems. And our goal is, again, to keep people out of their assisted living facilities as long as they're able to safely do so. We'll go to the next slide. And a couple of these words right here are just from some of our participants. And one, up in the upper right hand in the orange, is from a lady by the name of Darlene Hanby, and she's given me permission. She lives in Berryville. Wonderful lady. One of the first 4 people that came into our center. Our center currently has 76 people currently that we're serving right now, and we're growing. Darlene came in one of the first 4. She was in a wheelchair. She had fallen, and her supplemental insurance program gave her, I think it was 4 weeks of rehabilitation. 4 weeks. Some people might take a week. Some people might take 10 weeks. But the insurance company knows best. Humana and Mutual of Omaha and anybody else. 4 weeks is what you get, Darlene. Darlene needed a little more time. As of March of this year, Darlene is using a cane. She's not in a wheelchair anymore. Darlene recently flew to California to see her grandchildren. She's using her cane. And I saw her the other day, and I may have mentioned this to Suzanne, but I did see her the other day, and Darlene was in Berryville, and I saw her walking, and she had that cane, and she's holding the cane like this. And she's looking at me, and she's smiling. I said, Darlene, put that cane on the ground, because don't want you going backwards. But there was not only a physical therapist and an occupational therapist there to support her, but there were 75 other participants cheering her on. From all walks of life, because that's what we do. We serve our community, we serve our neighbors, to help people with equality and to encourage them to flourish. My name is Ben Weber. We'll go to the next and last slide, I believe. I'm happy to stick around after the service, and I'd love to talk to you about it. And I'd also love to talk to any other organizations that you may be aware of to spread the good news. But I would like to ask you to do this. You can spread the news too, each and every day, and tell people that there are options available. And there's this crazy guy that will come to your house, and he will talk to you privately about it. I'm that crazy guy, by the way. But I'm happy to do so. And so thank you so much for this opportunity, and thank you.
One purpose of the church is to encourage all who gather to grow more generous in spirit and in action. We will now gratefully receive an offering to sustain this self-supporting church and its ministries within and beyond our walls. If you are watching online, we hope you will consider making an offering through our webpage, uushenandoah.org. If you are visiting, feel free to let the basket pass. Your presence is our gift. I apologize, I forgot to say the land acknowledgement at the beginning, so I wanted to make sure that we do that. We acknowledge that we are on the traditional lands of many indigenous Native American tribes who lived here prior to the European settlers who then took the land for their own. The blessing of truth be upon us, the power of love direct us and sustain us, and may the peace of this community preserve our going out and our coming in from this time until we meet again. Now, as Ashley Steele comes forward, let us all say together the words for extinguishing our chalice. We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of our community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we meet again. Thank you. Go now in peace.